Okay, so today's Tuesday, and we're back to a muddy mess again. We've gotten just a hair under 2 inches. Weatherman said we were going to get less than an inch, but he wasn't right on that one. He was right that it was going to rain and it was going to be cold. That's about it. So, I got to run this load of feed off, and then I got to mix up another load, run that load off, or some of it, park it, and then do inflations. But instead of just having a video of just changing inflations, thought we could have this video of mixing and feed and putting it out. And I just wanted to talk about something real quick. Farm safety. I found out this morning from Andy Horgan that Eric from Farming Life, which I don't really watch his channel that much. I've watched a few videos, but he told me that about his daughter being run over by the feed wagon cart, or what I guess that's what you call those, little small ride-on feed wagons. If you don't know nothing about it, I guess. Let's see if okay. So I guess she walked up behind him and he backed up and ran her over, broke her leg, dislocated her hip, which is for any parent has got to be the worst feeling ever. Yeah. So I saw that, and I didn't even think twice about it or anything, and then I watched a video from One Lonely Farmer, and he started talking about it, which that's fine. I don't know, they don't like each other, but whatever. But he was saying about kids riding or driving equipment, and kind of made a comment about he's seen some small channels with 6 or 7 year olds driving a skid steer, and I was like, he's talking about me, because I got the video of my 6-year-old driving a skid steer. Which, I mean, that's fine. Everybody's got their own opinion. It doesn't bother me none. But I did want to kind of just talk about that for a minute and what I think, because obviously I don't remember, but from what I've been told is since I could walk, I've been over here at this dairy barn. This dairy barn has been in business for 37 years, and I'm 31 years old. So been around it all, seen it all. I probably haven't seen it all. There's probably more that could happen that I haven't seen yet, but I've been baling hay since I was 8 or 9 years old, and I don't mean I went to the hayfield one time and baled a couple bales. I mean, for 23, 24 years, I've been going to the hayfield and baling thousands of bales over a summer. That was our job when we were kids, and well, still is our job. But my dad taught us. I got 2 brothers, if you didn't know that. Younger one and an older one. The older one's 36. Younger one's 23. The younger one, he started in the hayfield when he was 7 years old, which he beat me by a couple years. And then the older one, if I remember right, I don't remember, but if I remember what I've been told, he was about 10 when he started. We had a lot of open tractors then. It was nothing for us to be raking or cutting or baling. Whoever was baling got a cab tractor, but raking, fluffing all day long. I have a memory of driving a 2355 with a front end loader and a rear fork on the back through town, and a lady pulling up to me at a red light and asking how old I was, and I told her I was 9 years old, and then she's like, "Oh, is your dad behind you?" And no, he wasn't. He's still in the hayfield, and I was told to head home, so I headed home. I mean, obviously that was a different time. you know, that's over 20 years ago, and I wouldn't do that now with my kids, but there was no issue then. But we were taught, I mean, this is gonna sound bad, and it sounds bad now, but then it was like, oh, you know, I mean, obviously, if my dad was a mean old asshole, I wouldn't be working with him still. So, you know, if I screwed up and did something stupid or wasn't paying attention, you know, I got drugged out of a tractor a couple times, and he's probably gonna ask me tomorrow what the hell, but it is what it is. Yeah, so I mean, all that did was teach me don't be an idiot, and so I mean, actually, you know, if he's watching this, you know, thanks. Yeah, so you know, keeping a kid out of a tractor or learning how to drive something, I think is actually more harmful. Now, obviously, if they get hurt or something, then your child was not ready to do that. Which, I mean, yeah, there could be all kinds of stuff. Could something happen? You know, a kid driving a tractor and a wheel falls off and the tractor flips. Well, that's different than having a kid in a tractor and you know, he falls off of it or something like that. Obviously, I would not put any of my kids in anything that they could fall off and get run over. You know, I would take as much safety to it as I could possibly take to it. But I think, you know, holding them back just because they're smaller is not. I'm trying to think of the word. Hindering them. It's not developing them. Like I was just saying, all that what me and my brothers did as small kids, it taught us something, and you know, I mean, a lot of it probably made us who we are today. So if my kid wants to drive a skid steer, then you know, I took him out into an open area. Had long talks with him beforehand. I didn't just let him jump in it and take off on it or go on some uneven, rocky, hilly ground. He was on a flat, level ground at idle, and just let him get a feel for it. And you know, I was right there with him. He had no idea the camera was there, which I did that on purpose so that he didn't feel like he was going to have to show off or have any of that nervousness about that. Hell, my dad didn't even know it was there. And it was just me, him, and his grandfather. That's it. Nobody else needed to be around. That way he was focused on what he was doing, and you know, he learned something. So that's with him. Now, if I took my 12-year-old daughter out there, it would have to be just me and her, no camera, no nothing. And she, you know, she may on purposely try to run me over, but they're two completely different people. My son has like ice running through his veins. He is just level-headed all the time, just real calm and smooth, knows when to play, when not to play. You know, I mean, like joking around. If you know, if you caught the video where he gave me a ride, he drove off and left me. So, you know, he's just playing that joke where you keep pulling forward. And, yeah, when I was closing the gate for him. But anyway, you know, my daughter, on the other hand, gets very flustered, very frustrated, very nervous. You know, if I start trying to explain something to her, she feels like she's doing wrong, so then that makes it worse. And then she just can't, it's almost like she can't function. So that would have to be a more that's why I said it would had to be just me and her, no camera, stuff like that. And it's the same thing with driving. I mean, my son was like, let him start to drive a little bit, and because he asked, and I thought, well, we're going across this open pasture. There's absolutely nothing out in this field. I'll let him drive, and he was only 5, and I was like, wow. And so I let him keep driving. Now, am I going to let him just drive from the dairy barn down the county road to my house? No. I will let him do it if I'm riding with him. I mean, he's already done it several times. I would let my daughter drive too. Just I would have to buckle up. And she's gonna hate me for that. But anyway, but the whole deal with the farming life, I mean, that was that's you know. I remember being a kid, and we had little 4-wheelers. I had an XR80 dirt bike, and I rode it all over the place. I mean, there's nowhere that I didn't go. And I hated wearing a helmet, but my parents made me wear a helmet. And then so I put my hat on the handlebar, and ride to the barn, hang my helmet on the handlebars, put my hat on, go to work. And I'm talking, you know, 10, 11, 12 years old. It's just a little 80cc dirt bike, and you know, I would go open and close gates for my dad, and he would tell me, you know, hey, don't be riding behind me. Do not ever ride right behind the feed wagon. I can't see you. If I have to stop and you're not paying attention, you're going to run in the back of the feed wagon. You know, so then you know, don't ride behind the feed wagon. Pretty simple. And, you know, it kind of get to a point where you let some things slip, or you let things slide because it becomes normal, and you don't realize how dangerous they are and all that. But you know, I wanted to say that about letting kids drive, and you know, keeping a kid away from the farm and keeping them off equipment and off from learning how to do stuff isn't helping anything. You know, there's a right way to teach them, and depending on the kid's personality, or you know, obviously if there was a kid that was reckless, I wouldn't want them on anything. But you know, like Case, my son, I mean, he's never shown any signs of recklessness ever. And now, when he's 15, 16 years old, he's got a couple buddies over, is he going to do something stupid? Probably. If I find out, I'm not going to whoop his ass. So definitely. And then hopefully he never does anything stupid again like that. But, yeah, you know, I don't want to say anything, you know, about the farming line. I mean, that's horrible. You know, I don't know what I would have done. I mean, he had her. She was supposed to stay in a certain spot, and she didn't. That really sucks. There ain't much you can say about it, but you know, I mean, you always need to be super aware of your surroundings, which he's never going to live that down, and I imagine every time he backs up now, he's going to be you know, come to a complete stop and be looking behind him before he moves, even if he knows nobody's there. Yeah, but you know, We're about to move over to the wheel loader, and then give me a second to think. So I guess in a roundabout way, what I'm trying to say is I don't see any problem with having your kids do things on tractors or ATVs or I mean, I would rather my son drive a dirt bike than a four-wheeler, because if for some reason he did roll it over, it seems like a four-wheeler likes to follow you and run you over or land on you. And in most cases, unless he's jumping or anything like that, a dirt bike just lays over. So, but I mean, you're kind of always in a constant state of danger, no matter what you're doing. Wasn't too long ago, doing bailage. It was 10, 11 o'clock at night. Been working all day long, and I was tired, and I climbed up in the wheel loader here, parked on this slab to get my phone out. Left my phone in here, and when I stepped back, I missed a step and ended up just landed on my back from the top of the, basically top step of the wheel loader ladder into the cab. Yeah, I mean, I could have busted my head open and cracked my skull open. So anything you do has some kind of danger to it. But I think it's depending on your kid, his or her maturity level, his and her skill set of what they can do. I think just keeping them completely away is not the answer. They need to learn I was gonna say consequences, but not really consequences, just what a piece of equipment can do and how it does it, and all the different ways it can kill you and hurt you and rip your arms off and all that. So they know better. I mean, what's the difference between an 8-year-old and a 12-year-old? If the 8-year-old's been around the equipment, he knows what it's going to do to him, and compared to the 12-year-old, I mean, yeah, size difference, yeah, maybe a little bit more knowledge, but as long as the younger kid, as long as he's mature enough to understand, don't do that, do this, everything should be fine. And then, if someone buys their kid an ATV or a UTV or even a dirt bike and takes them out in the front yard and tells them to ride around, and you got parked cars and trees and chain link fences and whatever else, pets, a dog darts out in front of a kid, and an accident comes from that. I mean, that's the parent's fault. There's no excuse for that. That's your own. That's that parent's just being an idiot. I mean, take a kid out to an open field where there's nothing for hundreds and hundreds of yards around, and start them off slow and easy, driving around in circles, and let them get used to that, what it's like, and that's how they should learn. Shouldn't be zigzagging around mom's parked car and around the tree in the front yard, and Sparky running out in front of them. Seen all the people in there? Yeah, I know. Well, that was my dad. Just walked up and he just came to tell me something. And if you noticed, I stopped as he was walking up, put it in neutral, and I highly dislike people stopping me when I'm mixing up feed, because I just get, forget which ingredient I just put in, stuff like that. But anyway, when he was walking towards me, I put it in neutral and I pushed park, and that way I don't end up running him over. But a little bit more. The hard part is this was just a straight up accident. It wasn't you know, he didn't take his kid and put her on the feed wagon and tell her to put out feed, and she fell off of it. She just walked up behind him, and he I mean, I don't know the guy, but I imagine it's something you're gonna live with for the rest of your life, and there's nothing you can say that would be like, you know, other than you know, I read some of the comments this morning where they were saying forgive yourself and all that, but I guarantee he will never back up again without looking behind him. And so yeah, I mean, anytime I have any of my kids over here, I try not to do anything that's you know, like moving around equipment with them walking around freely. I either stick them in the loader or, you know, in the cab. I was just thinking about mixing the feed, but you know, I stick them in the cab and I have them with me, and you know, if I get out, I you know, put everything in park, and I mean, they would have to, you know, go through steps to get the machine to move. If I'm just stepping out to open a gate or something, that's what I would do. If I was gonna get out to, you know, walk around out of a line of sight, I would probably shut the machine off. You know, a farming accident, we had a guy, a well-known guy from here in town that I've heard a couple different stories, and he had a round baler and he had a square baler, big square baler. I forgot what kind it was. I don't know, it don't matter. But anyway, I've heard two different stories, and I don't know which one's true, but on a round baler, you know, where you can lock the gate. I heard he forgot to lock the gate, and hydraulic hose busted, and door slammed down and killed him. Hit him in the head and killed him. I've also heard that this guy may have got sucked into his big square baler. I don't know what's true. I know he was by himself, and he I think his son, I mean his adult son, found him later, and yeah, not a good deal. And that's just like in my previous video, had issues with the milk coolers, and you know, you know, editing the video, I probably sound like a little kid calling my dad to come help me fix it. I mean, I could probably go through and figure it out, but I'm thinking it's 4 o'clock in the morning and I'm tired. I'm still half asleep, and I'm about to go digging into some live wires. So why not call him, have him come over, and we look at it together. And that way, if I do end up fried or he ends up fried, we can do something about it. You know, that's kind of the way I think about things like that. Yeah, so you just keep that in mind when you're doing stuff, and you know, it should all end up working out in the end. With all that being said, you know, thanks for watching. Don't forget to comment, rate, and subscribe. If you have a different opinion or like to comment on what I was talking about, please leave me a comment down below. You know, I mean, you're not going to hurt my feelings if you completely disagree.